Good evening, everyone. So I would like to share some of my thoughts. My name's Emily Penn. I run an organisation called Pangea Explorations. We have a 72-foot sailing boat and we sail all over the world doing scientific research and collecting data, taking scientists, filmmakers, journalists, artists, really to connect people to the ocean. The way I got into this was about 8 years ago. I had the opportunity to sail around the world. I actually trained as an architect and loved design and challenges myself, but had this opportunity to take a boat around the world, and along the way I really realised all of these things, the changes that were going on in our ocean, the overfishing, the sea level rise, the plastic pollution in particular jumped out at me, the change in the ocean chemistry. What's that? Oh, the microphone. Is that better? Sorry. And so saw all these changes and ended up living on a tiny little Pacific island in the heart of Tonga in the southwest Pacific. And it was a day on that island that really changed the way I thought about our society. And bear with me, you'll see how this relates to you and technology. So one morning when I was living on this little island, I was woken up in a hurry by the chief of the island by the word tsunami. And him and his family gathered around me and they asked if I knew what this word meant. And so we hopped in the truck and we went down to the shoreline, and the ocean had gone beyond the horizon, like somebody had just pulled the plug out of the sea. And all of those coral reefs that are normally covered were then exposed and lying limp under the morning sun. And the kids had run out onto the beach to pick up the fish that were flailing on the seabed. And about 30 hectic minutes later, we managed to get the community over to the other side of the island. And we basically just waited. And we waited for that time that the warning had warned us that this tsunami was going to hit. That time came, and it went. And a safe while later, we went back down to the shoreline, to the village, and we found that the water had come in, it had flooded the village, it had washed away homes, it had smashed up the boats, but no lives had been lost. And that day for me went from being one of the most terrifying days of my life to, more recently, one of the most insightful, because as the sun was getting low, the community came and gathered around, and really without much discussion and debate, they started collecting new banana leaves to rebuild their banana leaf huts. They started going and taking seedlings of trees from one side of the island and brought them over to replant the damaged coastline. And within weeks, if you went and visited that island, you would have hardly known that this major event had just happened. Then 6 months on from that, I was hitchhiking on a freighter ship from New Zealand to California, as you do, and stopped off in Samoa, which is a much bigger and more developed island. And they'd been hit by the same tsunami 6 months earlier, and I went down to visit that shoreline to find that it was still absolutely devastated. There were houses destroyed, makeshift tents, and basically lives just put on hold. And this really intrigued me, the way these two islands have responded so differently. Tonga, being the very remote, isolated community, had managed to rebuild themselves, and yet the developed, connected community, Samoa, didn't. And I feel that the reason that Tonga managed to do that was their connectedness to one another. They knew within their community who could fix things and how to get things done and how to organise themselves, and most importantly, the connection they had with their planet. They knew where all of their resources came from, and they knew where their waste went and how their whole infrastructure worked, and they were actually able to then help themselves to get better, whereas Samoa had kind of lost that connection with their natural world. So this is really one area that I believe technology really comes in, because when I then come back to our society after all this time at sea, and I just think, whoa, how disconnected are we with our planet? But I also believe that we're never going to go back to living in villages of 200 people like they do in the Pacific Islands in Tonga. So we're not going to actually get back to our resilience through that means. But that's where I think, these devices that we all walk around with in our pockets, they're amazing sensors, and they really give us the ability to get back that connection, both with one another on how we organise ourselves geographically, especially in a crisis, but also how we're connected to our planet and how we understand our planet to be able to then form solutions. I've completely forgotten about my slides. I'm just going to catch up. There's a tsunami. There's a devastated Samoa. So I mentioned Pangea, which is the organisation I now run, that really is about connecting people to the ocean. And we take scientists out and collect a lot of data, and this is really one area where we have really started to use apps and technology to assist, particularly our work in plastic pollution. So one's called Marine Debris Tracker. This is actually the developer of the app on board with us on Sea Dragon. And this enables us basically to log all of that plastic that we're seeing out in the middle of the ocean, whether it's the tiny little pieces of microplastic that we're collecting through our trawl, or those bigger bits. And traditionally, we would have done this using a GPS, a stopwatch, a camera, a reference book, a pen and paper. Now we can just do it all in one iPhone or one iPad. Obviously, it makes it much easier for us. It means we can collect more data. It's much easier to share that data and make it more accessible to scientists all over the world, which is a huge challenge within the ocean community at the moment, is how do we actually get global action. But what's been really great about it for us is it makes that data much more reliable. When we had all of those different instruments before, there was a lot more places that error could happen, but now you just hit one button, it takes care of your GPS, your date, your time for you. And so it's actually given what we call citizen science, a lot of what we do, a lot more credibility, and means that our data is a lot more meaningful and gets to be used a lot more. So thank you all for coming today to really help shape these devices and the types of technology that we need to better equip myself and the rest of the maritime industry when we're out there to be able to do our jobs better. And to finish, I have a short video. It's just 50 seconds. Oh no. The ocean, for me, is the lungs of our planet. The health of the ocean is absolutely essential to the health of us as human beings. Pangea runs a sailing expedition vessel to help scientists collect data on marine debris all around the world. There's a variety of apps that I use every day. iNavX is essential for us to be able to navigate the vessel. Marine Debris Tracker allows you to enter the marine debris you find into a global database so we can start to build up a bigger picture of this problem around the world. I think these apps are essential for us to be able to bring change to what's going on in the ocean. That was a little segment from Apple's Apps We Can't Live Without commercial they did last year. Thank you very much.